In this lesson, we're going to take a look at all of the workers that built those canals and roads that we learned about in the last lesson, the immigrants of the mid-1800s. The Irish came over in significant numbers, particularly in the 1840s. The Irish were poor farmers in Ireland, and when their one main crop that they ate failed, that being the potato, large numbers of Irish left Ireland, many of them destined for the United States. They came over with very little money, so they settled in the cities and took a lot of the factory jobs that were opening up. Additionally, of course, they took a lot of the construction jobs building the roads and the canals around the nation. Do note at the bottom of the notes here, you see most became Jacksonian Democrats. That's going to begin to cause a rift with other Americans as well, as they're going to come in and vote Democrat and start getting involved in politics. We'll talk about that in a little bit. The other group that came over in large numbers in the 1840s and 50s were Germans. We can see here from the map that many of the Germans settled in the Middle West. Some of them did settle in the eastern cities as well, but Germans came over generally with a little bit more money. Many of them came for political reasons. There were political issues going on in Germany, leading to a revolution in 1848. Anyway, many of them became farmers in the Midwest. Both groups were coming over in large numbers and began to face discrimination. We can see here job discrimination. All right, this was a common scene on windows or classified ads in the paper. All right, we can see here a series of political cartoons here maligning Irish immigrants, suggesting their incompetence at work, laziness, the bottom left, taking over politics. All right, all of these cartoons we can see are anti-Irish. We can see that if you take a close look at the faces. They're drawn almost monster-like or ape-like, not human, subhuman, which indicates that the cartoonist is against them and what they're doing. This cartoon, of course, shows the Irish immigrant tied in here with the Catholic Church. A point I probably should have made a moment ago is that the Irish were Catholic, and this is the first time that large numbers of Catholics are going to come into what was, at the time, basically a Protestant country. All right, so there's religious discrimination here as well. A number of the Germans came in were Catholic as well. But here we see the intimation that the church is going to get involved in politics in the cities, this being New York City. Here we see, it says, let me see if I can make this a little bit larger. It says here, St. Patrick's Day, 1867, all right, the day we celebrate. There were a lot of riots. A lot of them were anti-Catholic, anti-immigrant riots. Here, this particular cartoon is anti-Irish. We can see the police are drawn correctly, but the Irish immigrants are the ones shown doing the beating and throwing the bricks and whatnot. And again, if we look at their faces, we can see a subhuman quality to them, indicating, of course, the cartoonist is against the Irish immigration. I do want to point out here that in a number of instances, the Irish, in reality, in cities like Philadelphia, New York, and whatnot, were victims of these attacks rather than being the perpetrators of these attacks. The backlash against the immigration of Irish and German immigrants was so strong that you had political parties developed. The largest political party, a nativist political party, was the Know Nothing Party. And by nativist, we're talking about a concept of America for the Americans, immigrants get out kind of thing. The cartoon, the top right cartoon, we can see Irish barrel of whiskey, indicating, of course, penchant for alcohol. The Germans in the beer barrel there, and note that both of them together are carrying the ballot box, an indication that these immigrant groups were having a significant impact on elections, which again goes to the anti-immigrant Know Nothing Party, which we see here on the left as an example. Let me see if I can make this a little bit larger here so you can read. These must have been two candidates that ran as Know Nothing candidates. Fillmore Donaldson, I don't know where, but the quote at the bottom, "I know nothing but my country, my whole country, and nothing but my country." So we're talking about the Know Nothing Party, and the quote there. So just to reiterate, in note form here, a number of Americans felt threatened by the newcomers in that they were taking jobs and driving down wages, a disapproval of their culture, religious discrimination, all right, because now you've got large numbers of Catholics coming into the country, and this was new at the time. So then to sum up, Irish and German immigrants were coming in large numbers to America. To America in the 1840s and 1850s. All right, the potato famine drove the Irish out of Ireland, whereas more political-related issues were driving Germans out of Germany. All right, and there was a resentment and building discrimination with the Irish in particular, but you saw also Germans as well because of the Catholic religion, which is kind of interesting to note that most of our Christmas celebrations in America have their derivation in German Christmas celebrations. But that's a story for another day.